Hi, everybody. This is Pam Hill from On Stamping Hill, and I'm with you today to show you one of my favorite Christmas cards. And it's been a while since I posted a video, so I wanted to just hop on and share something with you. Um, I hope everybody's doing well. I know it's been hard the last few months. But we are getting close to the end of the year, and this is the time when I start making my holiday cards. So I wanted to just share with you one of my favorite cards. It's a fun fold. Um, this is what it looks like, and it opens up like this. I used a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and I cut it down to 6 by 11. And the way that it's a pretty easy fold. The way that you fold it is you fold it in half. Let me move my camera down. You fold it in half like this, and then you fold the front back like that, and that makes your fold. That makes the beginning of your card. The next thing that I did was I added a little stenciling to the front of my card. You can see it on the front there. I used a little stencil and I sponged on some ink to it with this green shaded spruce is the name of the color that I used. And I'll make a list of all the things that, all the supplies that I used to make this card, and how to put it together. I also used the Dashing Deer stamp set to make the deer on the front, and also there's coordinating dies. So I stamped it and cut it out, and that's the part that I used for the front. And then I used another piece of cardstock to make the fold, the accordion fold on the inside. And this color is also shaded spruce. So we have the same colors. Basically, it's a monochromatic. I did make a few changes to the one that I'm making, but it doesn't, diminish the card in any way. So let's get started. I'll move this camera down a little bit so you can see what I'm working on. This is the stencil that I used to make the pattern on the card. And you can pick any color or pattern that you like. When I'm stenciling, I like using stencils because it adds a little dimension to your work rather than just having a plain white card. This technique is a little messy. You do get ink on your fingers, so keep a towel close by so you can, wipe your fingers off so you don't get fingerprints on your card, inky fingerprints. But, always remember that when you make a card and send it, everybody, the recipients of these cards are overjoyed with pleasure when they see how long you've worked to make these cards. So, they're little pieces of art. And with art, it's not perfect. So you always want to remember that when you're making your cards, is they don't have to be perfect, because it's inspired by you and how much you care about the person you're sending the card to. So you can see how I'm Just stenciling that over. See how my fingers are getting all inky? So you want to be careful in this process because, you know, you can get fingerprints on your cards. You don't want to do that. I can put as much or as little ink as I want to on these cards. I'm not, you know, I don't want the technique to be that difficult to do. You want to keep your pattern straight. But you can take it off and look at it, and if you don't like it, you can add more to it. That's always up to you. I'm just trying to get my pattern lined up here as I go to the next section. And I want to use a lot, make it really dark and take away from the card. But you can see where there's a couple of really light places on here that I want to make a little bit darker. So you just match your pattern up and go on. So you can see how that came out. So the next step is, I don't want to get my inky fingers on there, so I can use my bold folder to crease this a little bit. I'll put my pad away. You can either move forward to putting your green card, your green inside portion of your card, or you can take the time to die cut and color in your embellishments. I've already cut out my embellishments, and I cut out this deer from Dashing Deer cards set. I also used Tag Buffet for the ornament on the inside and the Merry Christmas, which is a nice holiday set. And then I used Wishes and Wonder, and I stamped this little circle. It says Express Delivery Made in the North Pole, and I'm going to put that on as an embellishment. So I've already done all that just to save time. I cut out my deer, and I used these little branches from Birds and More set, and I cut out the little branches, and that's just going to give me a little dimension to my card. I also used the Merry Christmas stamp from the Tag Buffet set, so I'm going to put that on. I also used the ornaments from the Tag Buffet. I colored them in, and I stamped Happy Christmas on the front of it. These little dots, I just did that by hand with a marker. So you just go around the card, and I stamp in a little cluster of 3. And that kind of just gives a little dimension to add a pattern on, so it's not so white. And then I colored it in with a gold pen, the ornament holder top and the little stripes, as you can see there, and that's going to go on. And then I've cut a couple of pieces, a piece of white cardstock and some green polka dots that I'm going to use, you know, just as embellishments on the card. It's always fun to add texture and things that are different and pop up so that you have a little interest in your cards. So I'm going to start out by decorating the first piece, the front piece of the card that goes, the motion portion of this card. So I'm going to start out with putting a piece of white cardstock on here. And I'm just going to use the little Tombow liquid glue. And I'm going to put that on the back of this card lightly. And I'm going to put it right here and try and get it even. So that's how that looks. And then I'm going to put a little bit, put some polka dots down so that it'll give me a little dimension to the front portion of my card. So I'm going to put that on the front. Use a little glue. And then I'll add my branches, and I'm going to use two colors, gold and white, so they're not going to be exactly stacked together, so they'll be, you can see the gold and white, so that gives it a little bit of dimension. And I just use this glue, put it on here, a few spots around. I like this Tombow glue because you can move it around, and then it takes a little bit of time for it to dry so that you're able to move your pieces around. So I'm going to put that on like that, and then I'm going to use my gold one on the top. So I'll just put a little glue on the front, and if you do have a little bit of oozing, it's not a big deal because it dries pretty much clear. And you can always add a little bit more if you want to. Just, pull it up a little bit and put a little dot underneath. So that's how you're going to do that. So this is the front of the accordion piece that's going to go in the card like this. And I'm going to put my deer in, my reindeer. And you can see that it's a little bit too big, so I'm just going to make an adjustment here. And then I'll put the card in there like that. I'll use some dimensionals to stick it on. And when you get down to the portion where you've used the little dimensionals, you can use the whole piece because all of it is sticky. So I'm just going to put a little bit right here and cut it. You don't need to use a lot, of or dimensionals or glue, because if you get it stuck on one good place, then it's going to stay. And you don't want the whole thing to be glued down because it adds interest to it when you have, pieces that pop out. So that's the front piece. That's going to go on there like that. And then we're going to do the middle piece. This little piece is something that I just stamped from my Tag Buffet set. And I colored it in with the shaded spruce color. And I'm going to put a little embellishment under that. Just a little doily to add a little interest to it. And you can just put little dabs of ink or glue, and that'll hold it on. And then it dries clear. Like that. Sometimes I'll put a little piece of paper on there to press down because my hands are a little sticky and I don't want to pull it off. So I put a little piece of paper over the top to get all the ink or the glue adhered. And then I'll put my little piece on here like that. Put a little glue around the outside edge. You don't need a lot. Put that on the second part. And then on the last part, I'm going to put my Merry Christmas. Here it is. And I can put it on this piece. I'll just adhere it with a little glue. My paper's getting a little sticky. So I'll put that on the back. And then I'll put my Merry Christmas right there. I can use my little dimensionals to stick that on to make it pop up a little bit. Two little pieces like that. So at this point, everything's getting a little sticky. And if you're gonna, what I do when I make my Christmas cards is I make all different kinds and send them out. But if you want to mass produce this card, then the way you would do that is just do little pieces, you know, cut up however many cards you want. This Merry Christmas portion here, I used this stamp from the Tag Buffet, and I just cut it out. So it doesn't have to be one long stamp. I cut it out and made two little sentiment pieces out of it. So that's, you know, a trick that you can do. So then I put my Merry Christmas on the last part of it. If I have, you see when I have my doily is hanging over here a little bit, so I'm just going to trim that off because I don't want that to show when you're folding the card out. So the last part is adhering this to the base of your card. And the easiest way to do that is fold your card together and measure, place it on the front the way you want it to be. And then you're going to just stick the bottom part of this. You don't want to stick the whole area up, but just stick right here on this piece of the card. That's the first thing you want to do. Now I'm going to use some tape just for demonstrating purposes, because if I used glue, it would take a while to dry and I wouldn't be able to finish my demonstration. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape. But when you're making it at home, you can use the glue and then let it dry for a little bit. So I'm going to put a little piece of tape right here, the double-sided tape. I'm going to close my card and stick this on here so that it's even from top. You know, you want an even portion like that. So then you're going to adhere that piece first. And then you're going to open it up and go put a little tape on this back piece right here, because you want it to open evenly. So put a little piece right there, and then you're going to close the card that way. And then it'll be all even. So when you open it up, isn't that pretty? I love this card. When you open it up, it'll all be stuck correctly. So if you have any questions, you can write. Oh, and then I forgot my little piece from the North Pole. I'm going to stick that on right there. And that'll be my little, just another little dimension to add another little dimension to my card. It says it's from the North Pole. See, it says made in the North Pole. So I'm going to stick that right on the front. You know, there's lots of things that you could do to embellish this card. You could add some Christmas ribbon around this section right here. You could put something here. You could put something here. It just depends on what you like, and just, you know, go crazy. Put your stamp on it and make it the way you like it, and send it to your friends and family. It's just a great little dazzling card. You know, when somebody opens that up, they go, wow, that's really cool. And they know that you sent it with love. You know, you made it just for them, and you sent it with love. So if you like this idea, please use it. If you want to go to my page on Stamping Hill on YouTube and subscribe, like it. I'm going to be making more videos. I promise I'll do it more often than I have been. And leave me your comments and share it so that everybody can see your ideas. Or make your own page. That's the funnest thing to do if you're a stamper, is share what you love doing with your friends. And by Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, those are all places that you can share your ideas. So do it. You know, it's not that hard. So if you have any questions or comments, like my video and share it, and make your holiday cards and send them out. Okay? Thank you. We'll see you next time. Bye.